Now then, here we are back in van, and I have taken one huge step closer to getting back out on my usual epic adventures. And once this van is complete, the level of epic is just proper going to be raising the roof. So I am looking forward to that date when I can actually get off and properly start traveling and getting back into those mountains. The step in question is fitting the most beautiful floor. I have just finally got it down, and for me this is like all the houses and extensions that I've built. Once you've got the foundation done, then everything just starts flying. So that is what I'm hoping for now. So taking a closer look at this, I have used 4 sheets. I tell a lie, 3 sheets. There's one main one there, that's a cut piece, and then these 2 came out of 1, so 3 full sheets for a long wheelbase crafter. And this is 18mm ply, which is marine ply as well, so this is going to last a lifetime. I've just shoved some foam in at the ends here because what I don't want is any dust getting in, and I've also fully sealed all the way around the edge with some silicone, which again is just stopping anything dropping down the sides and getting underneath this floor, which I really do not want. But as you can see, I have cut and scribed it very well, and it is pretty much perfect. One thing I was going to do is, if you can see that pencil line there, I was going to cut out a section to reveal the actual step that's underneath, but I love the fact that I've just got this nice flat floor straight through there. And what I really do not like in a van is when there is bits where you can sort of drop down and bust your ankle. So I am going to keep that, and then I'm going to just come up with another way just to have a step, even if it is just an external step that I'll literally just shove out when I park up. So simple solution anyway. But today I am going to attempt to get this bulkhead in. So it's cutting another piece of 18mm marine ply to fit, and it's a bit of an awkward one because I've got cupboards to go in, I've got light fittings to fit, and I've also got like a hatch which I need to do. So anyway, let's get on with that, eh? Ugh. I'm going to get a ball patch from all head scratching I've been doing. This is not easy. What I've done is replace the original one, which actually is a pretty good fit. Now by doing that, it just means that I can work out and use this as my template to then transfer that onto some new ply and then refit it. So I've drawn out on here roughly what is going to be going on. So I've got a central light here which does need a really nice strong support because that is a heavy light. I'm going to have 2 doors here which are going to access the shelf above the cab. I've got some lights either side, and then obviously I've got this hatch here which I'm going to have to lower to provide a bit of support just for all that basically. But this is where it gets a bit awkward, because where it sits at the minute, the detail of it on the far side is absolutely perfect. So if I just show you this, that is just perfectly neat there. And what they've done on this one, which is actually quite clever, they've added a bit of L section all the way along the top just to bring that detail to look nice as well. So very happy with that. But the problem is when you get into this corner, because this metal pillar section, which is pillar A, B, when you put your board on, which is your wall board, it's going to sit and bend into it like that. We're going to end up with this metalwork showing all the way down that corner, which means I'm going to have to put some ugly looking trim down there. Whoa. Trying to kill myself here. I'm going to have to cover it with something and paint it in, and I don't like that. So I'm trying to work out a way if I can eradicate that issue. But looking at it, it's like anything, you've got to have some compromise somewhere. So I think that is what's going to happen, especially because this detail here is pretty much perfect down there. So I don't want to bring it all forward to lose that, because then that side's going to look ugly. So it's scratching stuff. I'll work it out though. Alright, I've done enough thinking. It's time to just do something. So I'm gonna use this as my template and then transfer it onto that. Annoyingly, it has just started raining. Not what I want really, is it? Ugh. Bloody rain. Just drag that this way a little bit, just because then I'm slightly covered by this tree. Annoying. This could be me done for the day. But I'm going to get this first cut done, so I'll get myself set up with that. My GoPro isn't waterproof anymore either, because it's got no lens cover on it and the buttons have completely gone. So when this goes, I've got no other way of filming, so that's a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, let's grab my Bluetty and we'll get set up and do a cut. Get out the big jigger. Love this thing. This has done a hell of a lot of work in its time. Let's turn her on. So that's oh, we are down to 2%. Let's hope we can get this last cut done. But to be fair, I have been using this for the last, what, 5 weeks, and it's only used one full charge of that to do all my cutting, grinding, sawing, absolutely everything. So overall, I am well impressed with that. And this is the Bluetty Elite 300, so worth checking out. There will be a link in the description to it, but it does pretty much everything. And I tell you what, whilst it's raining, let's just have a quick chat, eh? I'll just mention a bit more about it. I got given this a couple of months back now, and as you know, I've been using it quite a lot throughout my van build, and it is going to be my backup power in my van, so I am looking forward to having that. And I wanted it because it's a 3 kilowatt battery power station in that small box, so it's just going to sort of fit in a cupboard somewhere. And if my van main energy system fails, or it ends up going down to 0, then I can just pull this out and hopefully just plug in and have enough just to keep my fridge running, a couple of lights on, and my smile on my face. So that is the whole point of it. But it does have, let's have a quick look at it. We have got a 10 amp 12 volt output there. We've got a 30 amp 12 volt output, and that is on a XT90 connector, I think that one is. And that just means that pretty much can plug anything into that and power lots. We have got the input, which is from the solar, so it's easy enough to sort of shove my solar panels into that as well. Obviously it works DC and AC, and as it says there, let's just pull this light out, we have got the USB-C, which is 100 watt, 15 watt USB-C, USB-A's, and we've got a super fast USB-C here, which is 140 watts. And obviously we've got the AC output being 230 volt as well, which pretty much copes with all my van needs. And for me, I like to have this backup just in case something goes wrong in the middle of nowhere and I need to take my tools outside to fix something on my van. Whether that's just messing about with something like a jigsaw, which has an output of 720 watts, which is pretty much nothing for this because that's got a 2400 watt output. So I could put a couple of bigger tools on and have them running at the same time, which is good. But also for an air compressor, so if I need to fix a puncture whilst on the road in the middle of some random country, I will be able to get my compressor out and hopefully sort myself out, so I'm not having to call up and get someone else to assist me. So yeah, overall very happy with that. Anyway, let's see if this last 2% will do that cut that we need doing. and then I'll have to take it home and charge it. Unless I bang a solar panel on it and just get it all done for free. That's better thinking. There we go. All the major cuts are done. We just need to get it back in the old bus, which is shut up over there, and see if we can get it to fit. Let's have a look and see what percentage we're on. Oh, we're still on 2%. Can you see that? Flashing 2 though, which means I need to get it charged back up. Right, back into this horrible weather. Sometimes trees do come in handy though. Look at this. That's how much it's rained. That was before I shut the doors. Annoying. She is quite a chunk of weight, but quite manoeuvrable, just one-handed. And now I'm going to plug her in and charge her up. So let's get some power. I'll just grab my lead for her. Now we'll plug her in and then give her some jungle juice. And I can get from that 2% and start lifting that power, ready to smash some more work. So straight away we've got 800 watts going in there, so it's pretty fast charging, is that. As you can see, a slight different height in my prop, and that is because this is a standard 8x4 board, whereas this is probably an 8x5 or 8x6 board, which are really quite rare to come across. But anyway, we are working with this. Makes it actually a little bit more easier to manoeuvre. He says. She's very tight, but I purposely made her 5mm wider just because I need this edge to look perfect. So I'm going to sand this off just so it fits perfectly against this edging trim. It looks like she needs to go up 5 or 10mm as well, so I've also just done a couple of marks where I need to notch out with the jigsaw. So let's go see how the battery pack's getting on, because I do need power in there. Let's have a look, eh? We are on 16%, so that will do the trick. Let's get her in. And this was exactly the reason why I've sealed round all this floor, because all the dust that's still going to be made within this van build potentially is just going to fill those voids up. So definitely worth just putting that silicone bead all the way around everywhere. You won't believe how long that has taken me to get that to fit to the perfection that it is. Honestly, that's been up and down about 15 times, and I've just been sanding and trimming just to get it to right, but I'm happy with it now. So along this edge here, it is perfectly scribed, even though potentially that's going to be covered over. But mainly this side here against this rubber trim, that is absolutely cock on. So the next thing to do is cut the access hatch from the cab into the rear, and I don't know exactly where I'm going to do that yet until I have fit the shelf on the other side, which I pre-made a few videos ago. And that shelf, once in situ, will determine where I'm going to do my top cutout line. So I just need to trim it down. Here is the shelf in question, and I purposely left this long just so I could trim it down so we get, again, perfection, which is what I am all about. I hope I've got that right. As you can see, I've got the same detail as before, perfectly pushed up against that at both sides. And then now I need to add a piece that I can carpet onto, which is going to just cloak that gap there, which is about 35mm. Right, we need to get this shelf up against there, and it also has to sit on the bracket that I made, which is at that front point there. It's going to be a bit tricky and fiddly, but I'll pop you down and we'll see what we can fathom. This is not going to be easy at all. How am I going to do this? I'm too fat, I mean, way. Let's see if I can do it this way first. Oh, jeez. No, there's no chance. That's not happening. So I'm gonna have to do plan B, which is take this down, put the shelf in situ, and then prop it, and then put this back up against it. Something like that. It's all good fun, isn't it? Oh yeah, I remember I made it very snug. That looks pretty good to me. Just drop that a touch. Let's now wrestle this back in place. What's it looking like? Oh, get on. That, I think it's bang on straight away. I actually might need to take off 2mm. That rain can piss off. We have got a lot of water coming into this cab now, but the show must go on. So I need to make sure that this is level through on a vehicle that's not level, so it's one of those bit of guesstimations, but I should be able to measure off and just try make sure that both sides are even, and then put a level through it and hopefully be able to draw a line across here. Although I think I'm going to drop it by about probably 40 or 50mm, which gives me a little bit more structure on the other side because I've got other cutouts to do, and also it just means that I don't have to be as accurate where this strikes that, so it's a perfect corner, and it means I can probably put a bead around it and make it look a bit prettier on the other side. Anyway, I'll work it out, eh? So first of all, let's try, I don't even know, it's just turned into a sweat box in here now. Shut that door. Let's pop you down. Nope. I quit yesterday because of the rain, and today is not much better. Grey skies and lots more rain forecast, but we have to crack on. Adventures await. So I have finalised what I'm going to do with my bulkhead, and this has taken a hell of a lot of thinking just to position everything in the correct place, but obviously to future-proof it as well, just in case I adapt or change anything in the van. So basically I have got two openings which are going to access the shelf storage above the cab there. So those are as small as I can get them, which I can sort of still fit in some sort of like boots and jackets and not have much issue with that. I've got this central pillar coming down the middle there, which is for that light to attach to, and this is going to be the centerpiece of it, and it's absolutely beautiful is that. I'm looking forward to getting that installed. And then we have the opening here, which is for the cab access. So basically I just need to get it cut out and then hope I've got all my measurements correct. It's definitely a lot more maneuverable, cutting some weight out of it and also having some handles as well. But look at it, it does look like some end of level 1980s arcade game monster. So I've got to sleep in this van with that. A little bit scary. But anyway, let's see how accurate my measurements are when it is in situ. I used to use these a lot when I was fitting doors and windows, and they are absolutely awesome. It's just a simple little pump which you manipulate like that, and we've got a little valve which releases it. But they take 135 kilos each, so that is why they are awesome for situations like this. They're so simple. There we go, I'm happy with that. A nice way to climb in and out of the cab, and also this, I've got the shelf inside to be flush with this, so I'll be able to slot things in and out nice and easily. And in there, there's absolutely acres of space. I've just been using some sandpaper on a sanding block just to get these edges nice and square, and then I am going round with a router, and that has got a bullnose bit on it. So I've just been smoothing off these edges here. I've just got that to do, and I'm not sure about that one yet because I might put an oak trim around it. What a time-consuming mess. I've pretty much got every tool going out just because I've had to fathom a way to cloak the gap, which is utilising some upstand of wood with a curve on this corner, so I'm using a little bit of metal into these pieces, which are perfectly made. So if I just show you what these are for, but look at this, tools everywhere, mess everywhere. And these two bits of wood have literally just taken me ages to do. This level is going to represent the line of the bulkhead, and as you can see there is a gap in between those two there. So it took me a couple of attempts to sort this out. This was the first version, which was just absolutely rubbish, and then the more perfectly made ones are these, which are the final product. So if I just show you how these work, so that will fit just there. So as you can see, that perfectly fits and cloaks that gap from all angles, and that now will just get carpeted on the back of the bulkhead, and hopefully I won't have any stupid gaps laying about. I am absolutely made up with that, and obviously look at that skylight, that just highlights everything. Beautiful. The detail down this edge here as well is absolutely perfect, and I've just done like a bit of a bullnose round on that, which I've also done all the way around these, so these are just nice and smooth. The level of the shelf here is going to line through with this, so I'm going to put some sort of vinyl on here. So what I'll do is I'll actually drop this 2mm just to allow the vinyl to sit perfectly to the back of that. I will put a door on both of these, which will look something like this. So that's going to sort of like open outwards like that. And I am going to have a bit of boxing in here because I've got my sound system going up over the top of this door. So I do need to make sure this door can open onto that. And also the same on the other side, potentially I might do some higher cupboards here. So I've kept this back that way just so that when this door opens, it's not going to strike the cupboards. Future proofing. Would you believe it? It's actually day 3 of building this bulkhead. I thought I'd smash it out in a day, but absolutely no chance. And that is because there are so many different things to consider, and I spent about 3.5 hours last night going through all the different scenarios to do with my layout and how the storage is going to work and everything like that. And I am now this is the final dry fit, because everything is complete, ready to carpet and paint this side. Well, carpet the other side, paint this side, and then we can actually fit it in its permanent position. As you can see, I brought in my leather seating set, which cost me £250 for all these different pieces. Those are the sort of armrests, and we have got this part of the bench as well. And I needed to bring that in just to make sure that I got all my measurements absolutely perfect, so I know that they're going to work. And the issue I had was whether I was going to utilize this space down here, because there's actually quite a lot there. So I was just wondering whether I needed to cut a hatch through here to allow some access into it. But I've decided to just keep that as one solid board, and that is because I have my gun cabinet there for carrying my 12 bore as and when I need. And behind it, I am going to use this as the storage for my outside gear, including my chairs. So they're going to be accessed out of that way. So that'll be awesome. Which means I've got an upright here, which is going to help support the bench. And then I had to bring my batteries that are going in, which are these awesome Renogy 240 amp hour solid state lithium iron phosphate batteries. I've got two of them, and one is going to go there, and the other one I've drawn out is going to hopefully go there, and then my electrics all sit in that. So every scenario I went through, and I think I worked out exactly how it's all going to go. So that is actually going to be just one solid piece once I've fixed and bonded these two together. Carpet on the far side, paint on this side, and I'll show you what I've had to do on the other side to cloak all the gaps. So I've already sort of shown you, but in here I've got this piece here with this metalwork on the corner just to get that nice curve. So that's all going to be carpeted, so that should look nice. When we come down a level, we have got that piece there which cloaks that gap, and then down here, you can't really see it there, let me flip you around this way. On this side we've got that piece which is going to be the way to fix this board to the actual metalwork of the van. But obviously when that's carpeted, it's going to look beautiful because there'll be no gaps, including that one there. So I'm pretty much done. What I'll do is now, let me just take this down and I'll show you exactly what else I've done, because I've had to add some extra bits for, let me just pop you down there. I've had to add some extra bits just to allow me to fix this to the actual van itself, and this is very tight, which is always good, isn't it? Let's see if I can get this down without damaging anything. Wow. So let me just make sure you're still watching. There you are. So I have bonded and fixed these two fixing points here. I've got one there and one here, which means I can screw through the top of this into it, and that's going to hold it tight along the top. Along the sides, these are the pieces in question that I've made, so that is obviously scribed perfectly to that. So that's going to get carpeted, but I've had to angle these, as you can see. I've just taken a load off there because this bit is angled, so that is going to sit absolutely perfectly there, and that now allows me to drill through and attach to the actual vehicle along the sides. So that is pretty much it. I'm honestly exhausted, but I've loved using my brain for this because there's a hell of a lot gone into it, and I'm hoping that once it's all complete, it is going to be top-notch butterscotch. So I just need to now take all this to bits, attach it all to one whole piece, carpet paint, fix, and then another day will have gone. Anyway, it's all worth the effort, isn't it? Yes! So we have 4 straps which are just holding it so it's absolutely perfectly flush on the other side, because that's getting painted, even though this line is going to be covered by my cushion backs, but I just like things to be perfect.
I have used some mitre mate just to bond these on, but I'm actually going to add some 35mm screws, oh tell a lie, some 30mm screws to that, and this piece is now going to be glued and screwed on also. Just lay this carpet out, and luckily this is left over from my last van build, so I'm not spending any more money. Nice stuff though, very beautiful, and being a nice dark grey, it will match well in with the van. Nice, very nice. Cut ready, and I'm gonna have to do it inside in this cluttered small space because it's a bit of a dodgy day for weather. We have had lots of rain showers today, and also it is very windy, and if you've ever done any carpeting on using that spray glue, you do not want to do it in a windy place because you're like a drunk Spider-Man. Just like firing it all over the place, so it's just an annoying mess then. So let's get it done in me hole. I've made a good start. I used the factory cut edge, which is nice and straight along this bottom, so that is absolutely perfect. And now what I'm going to do is fold this back in probably 300mm sections, and then I can spray and just do little bits at a time, just keep sort of folding out as I'm going. You know what I mean. That was a bit of prattling about, but she's done, and I'm happy with it. Let's have a quick look at the details. So these edges here are looking spot on, and as you can see, the awkward bits where we've got these sort of strange curves are working well. Curve at the top there, and this top bar. All that section's in the cupboard anyway, so it's not really seen, but I like things to look good. So I think I'm just gonna have to shove it in the van now, and then I've got to carpet the shelf just before I can finish, because obviously that is a big part of it. So let's get it in here, eh? She took some lifting and plenty of jiggery pokery just to squeeze her into this space, but she is in. She's quite weighty now because obviously it's all in one piece, and being 18mm ply, there's quite a lot in that, so it is a solid base which fits perfectly to the floor along there. And now I've got these two in, I feel like the foundation of the van is ready to start building on. So I'm going to crack on after this. I still have plenty of other jobs to do, like fit some cupboard doors there. I also need to do like a nice oak trim around all this. I still need to carpet the shelf and fit that, because that needs to slot in as I screw this to the actual structure of the van. But take a look at what these last 20 hours of work have done. Honestly, it is annoying that it took so long, but just look at the details. We've got the perfect line all the way around there.
And if you look round at this side, all the way down to the bottom, just perfect. The curves, the really awkward curve which is curved on a couple of different directions, and then this section to the ceiling, honestly it could not be any better. So I'm going to leave it there. What a day or two that has been, but as I say, worthwhile making that effort just so I am happy with the result, and I'm going to live with this for the next 20 years I reckon, traveling around everywhere. So give the video a big fat thumbs up and we will see you on the next one. Take care.